What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. It is the 6th day of November, and here we are sitting at about $102,500 with 9 hours and 20 minutes left in the day. It's kind of funny how right now 102K feels like we're up, right? From a $99,000 low to 102K feels like we're up. I mean, overall, clearly we're down, but off of yesterday's tweezer bottom low, right? Yesterday and the day before's tweezer bottom low, we have what's called a partial decline, which we've talked about at length really for the past few weeks. But it's a partial decline is whenever you have a megaphone pattern like this, a broadening top pattern, okay? You reach for the bottom trend line, you reach for the full decline down, but you can't get there. So it's not full, it's partial, right? A partial decline typically implies that not only is the low end, but a reversal point, and implies that you're going to break out of the pattern overall to the upside. That's the expectation here. So as long as we maintain this, I think that the odds are good that we do break out to the upside. And if and when we do break out, the measure move would take us above 150K, okay, something around there. If we break out to the downside, the measure move would take us down to about 175K, or 75K, not 100K, sorry. We do have pretty high levels of fear, right? We're at a 24 right now. I was hoping that we'd get into extreme fear, but we bounced right off the 20. That 20 level is the threshold right between fear and extreme fear, but we bounced right off of that. On the positive note, this is the second most kind of fearful readings that we've had out of this whole bull market, right? And coming off of what was some of the least greedy moments as well. So I'm assuming that within this range, we're very near the low, if not at the low as of now. Is it possible that Bitcoin goes below 100K again? Yes, it's completely possible. You know, it wouldn't be detrimental to the price if we went down like this and then came back up and then we recovered. We can go just below these lows, and it's fine if we do, right? Just like here. Right, you had a little tweezer bottom low, didn't you? And then 2 days later, you went just below those lows, just barely. But then you recovered and you went up. You know what I mean? You went all the way up to new all-time highs technically. So it's okay if we do take out these lows. Our destiny does not hinge on the success of this tweezer bottom low here, but it doesn't even hinge on the success of this partial decline. We can touch this trend line and still come back up and break out to the upside. The statistics are just more likely that we break out to the upside with this than without this, right? So it's just something we want to maintain. Anyways, and then also if we go lower, if we happen to go lower, we get a daily close below these lows or something, that would just promote more fear in the markets, which again is the telltale sign that we're ready to move up, not move down, right? Looking at this on the weekly time frame, I've taken the liberty of going ahead and measuring every single kind of significant consolidation phase, not the length of the phase itself, but just from where the consolidation started to where the low of the phase was, which you know the low before we started moving up here, right? This is the low here, and then we started moving up. Low here, started moving up. Even the last consolidation phase here of the bear market, I took the liberty of measuring that low, and we could see these consolidation phases on a weekly time frame. They last about 23 weeks here, 26 weeks there, 21 weeks there, 20 weeks there, and again they last longer than that, but this is just to their low. 24 weeks here is what we're at right now. We're definitely in the environment to find a low. We're in a suitable environment as far as time goes. We're in a suitable environment as far as price goes, right? We're finding support here at prior areas of support back here as well. And then also, of course, within the range of this pattern, we have the partial decline. We're also in a suitable environment for a low as far as sentiment goes as well, right? Being the second most fearful readings that we've seen all cycle throughout all of these consolidation phases. So very promising prospects that the low is in here. I want to look at the short-term stuff and then zoom out and just get a little bit of a read on this with our indicators. If that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. Okay, here we are on the 1 hour time frame. I like doing that. I like not saying hit the like button at first, say hit the like button, subscribe as we get into it, because then it's like, all right, now the video is actually starting. That was just the warm-up. That was just the intro. We're not even getting into the TA yet, just some open thoughts. Anyways, here we are, pulling back a little bit of volatility over the past few hours, huh? Dump down, pump up, dump back down. Love to see it. Volatility is great. People are sweating for no reason or having fun trading it. From a low here to a high there, we have pulled back to our 382. This is actually a really good area to find support. Typically, if you are trending higher, you would expect to bounce off the 382 and go higher. And this could be the proper area to do so. We could also pull back to the golden ratio and bounce there. Of course, we could even go below these lows and bounce there. So it's really anybody's guess as far as where we could bounce, but this is a good area to do so. If we're looking at this on the 1 hour RSI, we do have a bit of an uptrend, don't we? Right? We've got higher lows here, but these higher lows do allow for the RSI to come lower if it wants to, right? Higher lows there and higher highs. We've got an uptrend here. I would assume that this uptrend ends when we're in the overbought zone, not beforehand, right? This doesn't count. That's a rejection of the overbought zone. So I do think we have higher to go, but first perhaps we do go a little bit lower. On the bright side, on the positive note, I don't think that gap there between this trend line and where we are now in the RSI, I don't think that's big enough to take us below these lows. So I think these lows do prevail. But again, if we do go below 102K, don't sweat it. Okay, don't be freaking out. Don't go panicking. Over the past 30 days, we've got about $14 billion worth of panicking shorts here. The longs have piled back on a little bit, but still $3 billion in longs to 14 in shorts, guys. That's less than 20 billion between both sides. It's very low levels of liquidity. I mean, maybe what they're saying is right about the government shutdown bringing in low liquidity, because we sure as hell don't have it here, man. Are the governments, are they the ones that are trading this stuff? Whenever the government shutdown ends, is there going to be more liquidity? Nancy Pelosi's trading Bitcoin on 40x leverage. She's getting reamed though. She needs more funding, so we need to open up the government again. Isn't it the longest as of now? Isn't it the longest government shutdown in history because it's Thursday? I think it is the longest shutdown in history that's ever happened. That's crazy. Donald Trump with both of the longest, he would be the man to do it. Anyways, stochastics. Stochastics are bearish. They are bearish. So again, the idea that we could go lower is well implied. And if we do go lower, again, the 382 is a perfect area to find support. We don't have to go lower. I'm just saying that the stochastics are bearish. The RSI is in an uptrend, and it would allow for you to go lower and still be in this uptrend. The MACD is actually bullish and would suggest a bounce here too. I mean, you've got reasons to bounce on your MACD. You've got reasons to bounce here on your RSI because you're at the 40. You've also got reasons to bounce on the price because you're at the 382 on your fib. So you could bounce here, but let's assume you do go lower. Okay, I'm not there yet. I'm not completely convinced that we go lower. Let's just assume you do. If you were to go lower, 101.7K, $100,000 and $100,600 itself would be an area to find support as well. Somewhere around there, 100,001, 100,600, something in that area would be also an area to find support. So if we go lower, I doubt we go below 100.6K, or at least too much below there, okay? We might barely even go below 101K. But again, it's completely possible that this is a low point here and that we recover. It is very common in strong moves, and relatively speaking to this 1 hour time frame, that's a pretty strong move to bounce off the 382 and then continue higher. Regardless of what happens, I would assume that whether you bounce here, whether you bounce here, whether you bounce there, regardless of what happens, I would assume that the next move would take us higher. So let's talk about that. Let's go on the 4 hour time frame. Right. Do we have, hold on, I just want to see. Is this a broadening bottom? Do we have a broadening bottom within a broadening top pattern? Like, right, you've got the white lines here showing us the broadening top pattern dating back to July. But do we have a broadening bottom right here? Is that what this is? Is this a broadening bottom pattern? That's crazy. Broadening bottom within a broadening top, and we're at the base of this range, technically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we look to break out on the 5th. It would be very good if we come here and then we come back down to like these levels. That would be very implicative that we go lower. But if and when we do break above this high, that's very implicative that we are absolutely going to be breaking out of this overall broadening top pattern. We'll see, man. We'll see. Anyways, a little bit of consolidation down here is really all I'm just saying there. 4 hour time frame. Come on. The RSI does have a bit of a double bottom here. We came up, we found resistance just above the 40. Now we're here back at the 40. It's just the same thing as the 1 hour. We could go lower and we're still fine. I mean, go lower, do it. Hell, even go below these lows. We could get bullish divergence there. It really wouldn't be a problem if we went below these lows. I don't want to see it personally. I think I speak for plenty of crypto bulls out there when I say these words. I want the low to be in already, damn it. But it's fine if it's not. We still have bullish setups ahead of us if not. These stochastics on the 4 hour time frame here are the most suggestive, in my opinion, that we do have more to go, that You know, like the 1 hour, if we do come down a little bit, sure, maybe we come down a little bit, but it will not be long lived. The 4 hour stochastics tell me that we are in the process of a move overall to the upside. I wouldn't think that we go below these lows based off the 4 hour stochastics. The RSI is kind of iffy, but the stochastics don't lie. MACD, whatever. I mean, you've got you're postured upwards right now. Overall bearish, but again, the 4 hour hasn't really been that reliable lately. I don't know. I'm not worried about this at all. You're at the same levels in your oscillators that you were back here when you found these lows, whatever. Daily time frame, looking at this. RSI bouncing off the oversold zone, the same areas that we typically do bounce from. Every single low here, let's just go over this real quick, okay? Every low since March, we've gone at least up here, right? At least up to this level. Overbought zone the next time, right? Found support in this zone here. You went all the way up to something above the 60. Here, overbought. Here, overbought. Here, above the 60. Here, overbought. Here, just below the 60. So every single time that we found support in this range since March, we've at least gone here. We've at least gone here, right? Twice. The majority of the time we go above the 60. The fact that we've had 2 instances below the 60 and we just had one tells me that the next instance we're due for something above the 60 and we probably get overbought. We're probably going to go to this area here. So a move like that, I think, would allow the price to see some spectacular growth in a very short amount of time. We look at the stochastics and hold on now. I think we've got some good stuff going on here. Okay, the blue line is crossing down, and that's not positive. We don't want to see that, but the orange line is bouncing off the oversold zone, which I think is a pretty powerful signal there. If we can get this blue line to turn back up and keep that orange line up as well, bouncing off the oversold zone here, that'd be a very productive look, and that would suggest days, if not weeks, of growth to come as well. Looking at the MACD, we got bullish divergence. That's about it, right? Low here, lower low there. Low here, higher low there. Bullish divergence between these 2 points. Likely we do move up. Not a whole lot to go off of there. I do think that we're moving higher. Looking at the liquidation levels over the past 30 days, there are a ton of shorts, you guys. Right? Out of all these shorts, there are 14 billion, but the majority of them are in the second half of this kind of map here, right? Going up to 111K, you're wiping out about $5 billion in shorts, up to 111K. From here, that's about a $9,000 move. But you go up another $7,000 from there, not even $9,000, $7,000, and you're wiping out about $9.4 billion. You're wiping out almost double what you would from a move up that's 9K from here. The next 7K after that, you wipe out almost double that. So most of these shorts are in the realm of 111.5K to 119K. 111.5K to 119K. If we take this high here to the low here, we've already interacted with this golden ratio area once. I would think that we either find resistance here again, or likely we break out and we go up to the 786, 886 at 119 to 122K. And 119 being the 786, we've actually shown a lot of respect on the 786 as a retracement throughout this range, whether it's as support or resistance. And 119K, again, that 120K level right there effectively wipes out all of these shorts that are piled on. By the time we get up there, there will be more shorts piled on. There will be some piled on to higher levels, and there probably already are. But just for all intents and purposes, we'd wipe out effectively $14 billion in shorts moving up to that level, or at least force them to restructure themselves. And that would be really nice to see. That'd actually be really nice to see, especially from here with this broadening bottom pattern. A breakout of this pattern implies a breakout of the overall pattern, right? Because the measure move down here, if this is a broadening bottom pattern, the measure move for this down here would take you above the breakout point of this overall pattern here to the upside. Whenever we do move up, whenever we do move higher, 135K is the first target, 146K is the third target, right, in our primary target range right here. And after we break above about 146K, 147K, we look onward to 156 to $161,000, somewhere in this range. And this ultimately is where I think we'll be either by the end of November, if not at some point in December. So again, let me just delete all this chicken scratch and we can redraw this here, okay, to make it look simple. From the all-time high to the relative low that we just had. The goal in mind is that we will be here by the end of November. If we're not here by the end of November, certainly I would expect that we're here sometime in December, and likely pushing on further to $180,000, $190,000 sometime in December by the end of 2025. I don't know, and I've been skeptical if Bitcoin will break above $100,000 or $200,000 by the end of this year. It very well could. I don't think. I think the highest that we could get to by the end of this year would be about $211,000. That doesn't mean that we, because I say that's the highest, that doesn't mean that that is the highest. We could be at 300,000. Who knows how high we get? You know, I mean, crypto's crazy. We can see some crazy pumps in a very short amount of time. And in fact, every time that we've had these very long 23, 26, 21, 20, 24 weeks of consolidation, we typically do get some fantastic moves. I'm actually kind of curious. Let's do this. From a low to a high. Let's just measure all these moves here. Hold on. And then we'll use them according to the time that we have to. We'll just do this low to, I'll do a two-part move here, okay? We'll do a low to high there, and then we'll also do a low to a high here. We'll measure both of those. Low to high here, low to high here. We're not going to take the actual high, just the relevant high of this move, okay? Based off of these movements, you know, that would take us into March, that we get to $200,000. That was at the beginning of the cycle, so I doubt we move that slowly. But March would take us to $200,000. I don't think it'll take that long. I think we'll be there quicker than that. You know, here, by this kind of movement that we've seen, 200K would be acquired in February, which again is a little bit faster, but I think still kind of slow. 200K in February, same kind of thing there, right? 220K, we'd see 200K on this one by March as well. By all the movements that we've seen so far, again, it's really hard for me to imagine that we see $200,000 by the end of this year, right? Being that February and March seem to be the earliest moments at which we could even get near those levels. If we're moving at this last move's pace, we won't get there until the middle of 2026, but I don't think it's going to take that long. I am expecting that this next movement will be the fastest move that we've had, the largest move that we've had this whole cycle. So I do think that we'll see some serious strides going into the end of the year. I just don't think we'll be at 200K by then. I think we'll be at 200K probably in January, maybe February, as what we've seen here, right? But typically, these long phases of consolidation, they don't last longer than this right now, 24 weeks, right? And I am drawing this consolidation phase from back here, not from back here. I think it's obvious that we've been consolidating since May. Right, we had a little bit of a move up, but really we've been in this kind of horizontal channel, this area since May, right, with the top side and the bottom side. That's where we're finding support right now. Finding support right at the top side of this prior resistance point here. But I don't really have anything else to say, guys. I'm kind of just rambling at this point. When we move higher, the real next target area that I'm seriously considering, I mean, immediately would be 135K, but really it's about 150K to 190K, somewhere in there. I think we'll be closer to 150, 160 by the end of November, closer to 190, 180 by the end of December. And with that, we should see altcoins rallying as well. It's time to get excited that this is the low when we break above. I mean, really, I would say when we break above this high, it's time to get excited. So when we get above about 117K, it's time to celebrate, right? Don't go celebrating too early. It's very possible that we could take out this low still. It's completely fine if we do. It's possible that we make one last attempt below 100K, but again, based off of the short-term stuff, I'm not seeing that happen personally. I do think that we will find support at 101 to 100.6K, somewhere in there if we go lower. It looks like we are going to go lower, right? Moving down here with some added volume, so somewhere down there. We could find support right here as well, though, so don't count on that if you are. But I got nothing else. Okay, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Support somewhere in this zone, and then by the end of the day, if not sometime tomorrow, we should be recovering onwards and upwards to 110K and beyond. Take care. Bye-bye.